have a word. It sort of became old-fashioned. It's called a nationalist. And I say, really, we're not supposed to use that word. You know what I am? I'm a nationalist, okay? I'm a nationalist.
Well, that one line sent the media and Democrats into a fit of rage.
He's trying to do the America First thing, and he's trying to lend a new vocabulary to it. And now he's brought in nationalist, and maybe it's a dog whistle to racists and such.
You're suggesting there's some kind of dog whistle there.
It is. It is. It applies. It does provoke hate activities. It does provoke discrimination.
Send me a memo when we're going to retire that phrase. And to others, even dog whistle wasn't strong enough.
When Donald Trump says he's a nationalist, that is not a dog whistle. It's a foghorn to his base.
Merriam-Webster defines nationalism thusly: loyalty and devotion to a nation. In other words, loyalty and devotion to America. Controversy. To examine that question, let's bring in two of our favorites. Horace Cooper, Senior Fellow with the National Center for Public Policy Research, and Preston Mitchum is the chair of the Washington Bar Association Young Lawyers Division. Preston, I want to start with you. Why is the notion of loyalty and devotion to country a, quote, dog whistle?
Laura, we already know in this country what nationalism means. We've heard it used many times. We know that extreme nationalism is what catapulted Hitler to the person that he is and that we know him to be today. And though I won't go as far as to call Trump Hitler, I will say that it smells very Hitler-ish. The problem with nationalism as a concept is that not only are you attempting to say that America is better than any other country, which on a surface level is a harmless term, surface level. But when we peel back the layers, when we really start to have a conversation about what nationalism means and how it's been used against people who are Muslim, people of color, other folks who may not necessarily be, quote-unquote, patriotic in this country, a lot of violence has ensued against many of those people. Okay. And that is the harm of nationalism.
Well, one question about that is when Trump's talking about nationalism, he's talking about the country is very diverse. I mean, we have an increasing number of Latino Americans, African Americans, people from Asian Pacific Islanders. We have people from all over the world. He was referring to America, which is a very large, diverse population. So, again, why I'm not following, and then you say he's Hitler-ish. I mean, his daughter is Jewish. His son-in-law is Jewish.
I don't think
he has the strongest relationship of any modern-day president to Israel. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see how that computes. Our policy was before described as too pro-Israel. Now you're saying it's Hitler-ish.
That's the equivalent of saying because someone is married to a black person that they can't be racist. Simply because his daughter is a
Are they?
That's hard. That would be hard.
That's pretty tough.
Very hard. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You've lived in this country longer than I have, so I'm surprised you would say it's hard. We see it consistently.
Wait.
It's actually
All right, Horace, I want to play. This is what President Trump followed up to try after he heard he's Hitler, he's Pol Pot, he's like everyone who's bad who ever lived because he said nationalist. This is what he followed up with today. Let's watch.
All I want our country is to be treated well, to be treated with respect. For many years, other countries that are allies of ours, so-called allies, they have not treated our country fairly. So in that sense, I am absolutely a nationalist, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, I mean, so that's his latest.
This president loves this country. I watched during Hurricane Harvey when he went out and was a volunteer helping to distribute goods and services. If you watched the camera and you weren't paying attention to what the commentators were saying, what you saw was a person that liked the people that they encountered. This president is devoted to this country. Now, it's the strangest form of racism that I've ever seen that black Americans, Latino Americans, and even Asian Americans have done better in this country relative to every other population. The Civil Rights Act was passed because blacks and minorities couldn't get work. Now you've got 5 records of unemployment achievement for black Americans. It is the weirdest form of racism, almost as weird as saying you can be a racist while being married to a black person.
What does that have to do with nationalism?
But
what does your
he
statement
is
have to do with
working
nationalism?
diligently
Because he wasn't
to make it better for people who live
Ask the people
in
in
this
Puerto Rico,
country.
was he making it better for them? Because Puerto Rico, contrary to what many conservatives
That's not
believe,
what the governor
is
says.
part of the United States.
That's
Yeah,
not
let's
what
keep this
Puerto Rico
focused.
part of the United States?
Let's keep this focused,
Because
guys.
he sure didn't act like it was.
Okay, well,
Being a nationalist.
the Puerto Rican infrastructure was a disaster during 8 years of Obama. It wasn't dealt with. It's been difficult for a long period of time.